Hey, writers, welcome back. I know you have been working so hard on your fairy tale adaptation as you've been changing the setting and unfreezing your characters. Today, what we're going to talk about is going back to spice it up, talking about adding details again, adding details using your five senses. And I remember I told you last time that when you're doing your fairy tale, the easiest details are going to probably be describing what things look like and what things sound like, possibly feel like. I really want to focus right here on adding details about what things sound like with a special word. You might remember it. It's called onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, really long word. And remember, it means a word that imitates the sound it represents. So these are some examples of onomatopoeia words. Splat. Doesn't it sound like that noise? Kaboom! Buzz. Whoosh. Onomatopoeia is a wonderful way to spice up a story because it really allows the reader to hear what is happening and what is happening to the characters. And I want to show you an example from the Three Billy Goats Gruff. This has one of the most memorable examples of onomatopoeia that I can even think of. And that is these simple words right here. Trip, trap, right? I've heard those ever since I've ever heard the story of Three Billy Goats Gruff. Everybody says that. Trip, trap, trip, trap. Who's that tripping over my bridge? That's a great way to add detail. These are onomatopoeia. And I think that might be something I want to try in my story. You might want to try it in your story too. So let me get out my story of the three little fireflies. And I'm going to go back to page 2 right here. Because I have then the big bad frog hopped over, which is fine. But I think I might want to have a sound. Every time the frog comes, there's a sound so that the reader knows that the big bad frog is coming out. What would it be to sound? Like splat, not splat, maybe plop. I think plop, 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 plop. I think that's kind of a frog landing sound, especially a big frog like this one. Okay, so I don't think I have room to squeeze it in there, so I'm going to write it down here. Plop, 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 and I'm going to draw an arrow. I could actually do that on every page, I think. I'll do that later after I'm done talking with you guys, but I think I'll add that in every time that the frog comes. And then let me see what I can do over here. The page that I started working on today is this page. This is after Big Bad Frog couldn't splat down the House of Stones. And I wrote, "What?" she roared. And I actually thought that was pretty good, but now I'm thinking I could probably do better. I'm going to try something else. She roared as loud. Could be loud. Let me try. She roared. I'm going to take off the period. She roared as loud as thunder, as thunder. She roared as loud as thunder. And maybe I could describe what she's looking like as she's yelling like this, just so I give my readers a picture of how kind of wild she looks. I think what I'm going to do is finally, oh, I know. She opened her thin, wide mouth and let out an ear-piercing shriek. Yeah. Okay. So look I described what she looks like, her thin, wide mouth and the ear-piercing shriek. So I'm going to keep working on this. But remember, writers, we always want to use sense details, always, because that really allows our reader to jump into our story. And a great way to do that is onomatopoeia words, words that make the sound that they represent. All right. Have fun. I will see you next time.